Breaking news, a homicide investigation on Madison's east side. We have the latest this morning.
Also stuck at $7.25, the impact of the state's minimum wage that hasn't moved in 15 years.
And we're waking up to a temp of 0, but look at our wind chill, -14. That's not the worst of it, and we'll talk about more snow that's on the way.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now This Morning on a Friday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
And I'm Chris Stanford. We want to get right to that breaking news this morning. One person is dead. Another person's in the hospital after a shooting overnight. It happened in a parking lot on Madison's east side on North Thompson Drive near the interstate. Officers got to the scene around 10 o'clock last night. There have not been any arrests, but Madison police say there is no known threat to the public right now. They are asking anyone with information to contact Madison area Crime Stoppers. That number is on your screen, 266-6014, or go online to p3tips.com.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's here now with your certified most accurate forecast for your Valentine's Day. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. We're waking up to really cold temperatures, -1 in McFarland. This is all without our wind chills taken into consideration. 0 in Madison. Actual air temperatures are sub-zero, mainly in a couple spots northwest of Madison. We will see that several nights starting as early as Sunday and lasting through Wednesday, where we have sub-zero temperatures. And then when you factor in those wind chills, that's why we have alert days Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday next week, but your alert day today and lasting even into Saturday, that's because of the snowfall we're going to see. We'll talk about that coming up.
All right, we'll talk to you then, Savannah. Thank you. 6:01 now, a Milwaukee Public School District audit finds what's being described as a culture resistant to change.
That's right. Governor Tony Evers ordered the audit last year. That's after the school district failed to submit financial reports. Auditors say they found critical issues stemming from staff turnover, fragmented planning, and outdated systems. Governor Evers is proposing $5 million be spent to address future audit results from the district. A total of 29 recommendations were made to fix these issues.
Also in Milwaukee, testing has found another public school with hazardous lead levels. That's Cagle Elementary. The Milwaukee Health Department says MPS now has 5 days to remove a significant amount of lead. Otherwise, they'll start working to close the school. The health department started testing because students were getting sick. Another school will be tested tomorrow, then a fourth when staffing allows. Roughly 180 Milwaukee public school buildings were built when lead was in use. Wisconsin has not raised its minimum wage in nearly 15 years, even as the cost of living continues to rise.
Our Eliela Liberté breaks down what impact, if any, that has on businesses and employees in our state.
At the start of 2025, 21 states raised minimum wage. That includes our neighbors, Minnesota at $11.13 an hour, Illinois at $15 an hour, and Michigan at $10.56 an hour. But Wisconsin stuck at $7.25 since 2009.
What minimum wage doesn't do is consider different industries, consider different size businesses.
Leah Hernandez is a Wisconsin small business owner. She's run the Cozy Home in Monona with her mom for 13 years.
I would never have employees if I paid the minimum wage.
She says a blanket raise would cripple some businesses while having little impact on others.
I think it could be raised across the board, but there's some industries where it could be raised even more. I mean, like what California's doing with their, I think it's like around $20 an hour. That's probably not going to work for a small town, but for tech industries, that's hardly anything.
$7.25 is the federal minimum wage, and Wisconsin is one of 18 states that remain at that benchmark.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
For business owners like Lacey Rude, raising minimum wage is top of mind.
It's coming up all the time.
Rude owns Lacey's Cafe, a restaurant in Madison.
It was $12.
She's also the only employee at the cafe.
It's hard for people to want to go into service industry, which, like I said, is the backbone of our community because, the pay rates are so low.
Tipped workers are legally only required to be paid roughly $2.30 in Wisconsin. However, those employees can make more than minimum wage because of tips.
I mean, it varies greatly.
If minimum wage was raised to $15 an hour, retail and restaurant employees would be the most impacted.
The floor of the labor market has come up.
Laura Dresser is a UW associate professor and has spent her time looking into wages in Wisconsin. She says right now it's a tight labor market.
And it's one of the most amazing things about the kind of post-pandemic shutdowns. labor market is that low-wage workers have made stronger gains and stronger progress than actually median or high-wage workers.
That's partly why employees are largely paying more than $7.25.
I just think it's so outdated of an idea that people just aren't even considering it.
But Dresser says a low wage can make it easier for some employees to be taken advantage of.
The more they are kind of dependent on that job, the more that can be leveraged into exploitation. And so that happens more at the bottom of the labor market. A higher floor on wages kind of lifts that up and says work is going to be rewarded this way.
So why is Wisconsin stuck at $7.25?
I think there's a lot of popular support for raising the minimum wage in many states, and I know that's true in Wisconsin as well.
In Wisconsin, raising that number means change in the state legislature.
It has not translated into legislative success yet.
And for both business owners,
We pay a lot more to our staff because we want to keep them.
We would see a huge change in this industry if we had better wages.
reporting in Madison, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
In other news this morning, Dane County Sheriff's Office warns about an increase in SIM-jacking. That's when hackers transfer your phone number to a scammer's phone, allowing them access to your bank accounts and other personal information. Officials say the uptick in SIM swap cases can be prevented. On your screen, if you take a look there, you'll see protection options for different carriers. Just contact your cell phone provider to set up those additional security measures.
Well, looking ahead to this weekend, Sun Prairie West is going to host a February Frost 5K. The fundraiser is to support Alzheimer's awareness. The school's Future Business Leaders of America is putting on. It's part of a nationwide community service challenge. All funds will go towards the Alzheimer's Association. Sun Prairie West FBLA president says events like these are about creating a positive impact on the community.
I learned not only how many people it affects across the country, but also how it affects their families, their caregivers. And so I really just wanted to do something to give back to the people affected by this disease.
Well, I'm sure they'd love to see you in Sun Prairie this weekend. It is Sunday, the 16th, from 9 a.m. to 11. You can meet in the Sun Prairie West High School gym. $35 to register. You can do it day of, starting at 8:30, or you can register online right now. Just go to channel3000.com.
Let's check in now in Savannah. What's coming up?
We're tracking a string of 5 alert days in a row. The first later today. We'll talk about what communities could see the highest rates of snowfall.
And it's a big morning in the 608 as we kick off our Spirit of Service campaign. I'll show you how you can honor local veterans making a positive impact next.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back at 6:10. We continue to follow breaking news this morning. A homicide investigation is underway following a shooting on the city's east side. Police say one person is dead and another is in the hospital. It happened around 10 last night in a parking lot on North Thompson Drive. There have not been any arrests, but Madison police say there is no known threat to the public at this time.
Anyone with information that can help officers should contact Madison Crime Stoppers at 608-266-6014 or submit a tip anonymously at p3tips.com.
Let's switch gears here in the 608. We're kicking off our Spirit of Service campaign this morning as we honor local veterans making a positive impact in the community.
Josh Breider is live in Barneveld this morning with how you can get involved. Good morning, Josh.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's one of our favorite moments of the year. News 3 Now, once again, proud to partner with Vortex in making this Spirit of Service happen. Joe Hamilton is the CEO of Vortex, joining us bright and early this morning. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, Spirit of Service, here we are, 2025. It's crazy how fast time is flying. And let's talk a little bit about Spirit of Service for those that maybe don't know what it's all about. What is the whole purpose of this event?
Yeah, so this is year 3 of Spirit of Service. So the whole idea is we're highlighting those people who served in the military, and they're still serving their communities, and they're still serving those communities now. So we're trying to give people an opportunity to nominate and highlight those people, and then we have a prize at the end for the winner.
So today's the first day that folks can go on to Channel 3000 and nominate. And why is this so important for the community?
Yeah, it's important for the community. So first off, for Vortex, our vision is to be the catalyst that improves the world through service. And so we're really all about service. And so we love to highlight those people who serve their communities. And these are people, again, who served in the service and are still serving later. And we just think the world of them. We think it's an inspirational thing for the communities and for other people. And so it's just really near and dear to our heart. And we hope it is for the community as well.
We have some images and video we want to show folks from last year because this has been a growing event. You mentioned 3 years, and it gets bigger and better than ever before. And I think it goes to show just how many people we have in our community doing something good.
We do. It's crazy when you read the nominations. I mean, you want to give the prize to everybody. There are so many people, like I said, that just have this heart and this, as we call it, spirit of service. So it's incredible to highlight those. It's incredible to read their stories, and we just couldn't be happier to do it.
So now's the time folks can go on, nominate. They're going to have a couple of weeks to do this. So this is going to last over the next couple of months.
Right.
So explain the process and how this works for you guys at Vortex.
Yeah, so people will go on Channel 3000. They'll nominate. They'll do a write-up on the various individuals, and then eventually here after a couple weeks, then there'll be the opportunity to vote on those individuals who should win the Spirit of Service. And then obviously we'll have the prize of $5,000 that'll be awarded to that individual. And of course they can do whatever they want with it. The past 2 winners have taken all those funds and redistributed them right back into the service things that they're doing and the communities that they're serving. So it's pretty cool. They don't have to do that, but it's pretty cool that that's how they're doing it.
And I think that just goes to show just how much it doesn't matter where these folks were decades ago. They're still giving back right in their own backyard still today.
Yeah, so it's really in their DNA, who they are and what they're all about, which is cool. It's in our DNA. And again, we think there's a lot of people in the communities like these individuals who serve. And so we really think it's important that we highlight them.
Oh, making such a positive impact. I mean, It makes you smile. And like you mentioned, it's hard to, narrow these nominations down because everyone's doing such amazing things.
It's really hard. It's fun to read. It's fun to read them. You get inspired. But when you think that there can only be one winner, it can be a little bit difficult as well. Yep.
It's going to be such a fun event over the next couple of months, though. Joe, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
If you'd like to learn more about Spirit of Service, again, you can nominate starting today. It's up on channel3000.com. It is live, folks. So go up there and start those nominations. And of course, stay with News 3 Now for continuing coverage over the next couple of months as we see just how many folks are doing something good right here in the 608, guys. You love to see it.
I can't wait to see all the nominations flood in because I know there's so many people doing great work in our community.
All right, get those nominations in. It'll be open today. Josh, thanks, buddy. We'll check in a little bit. Josh is always looking for inspiration to share in the 608. Got something for him? Reach out. He'd love to hear from you.
All right, Savannah, what can we expect for our Valentine's Day?
Well, we're expecting alert day conditions later in the day. A cold start early, but then temperatures won't be a problem later in the day. In fact, because they warm up in the mid-20s, we're tracking a heavier snowfall, much heavier than what we just saw on Wednesday. That was very light. Accumulating snowfall, additional snowfall of 3 to 6 inches can be expected, but areas north of Madison could see slightly higher amounts. All of southern Wisconsin will see alert day conditions later. Basically tracking those mid to late afternoon will continue through the evening and then even into early Saturday morning. So this is a timeline. We have a winter weather advisory that'll go into effect for everyone across southern Wisconsin at 4 p.m. and last till 6 a.m. Saturday. Snow is going to develop west of here and start before 4 p.m. Between that time frame of 4 and 10 p.m., that's when I'm tracking intense snowfall rates that could exceed or be near 1 inch per hour. That's more likely I-94 and then northward, including Madison and areas to our north. That's when we'll see the greatest impacts too. The greatest impacts will be low visibility and then also hazardous travel because of slick conditions. Light to moderate snow will continue 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's when that winter weather advisory right now is set to expire, but we're still tracking lighter snow that's going to persist after 6 a.m. There's a very high confidence in the snow that we'll see later today into early Saturday morning. Our evening commute will definitely be impacted. 2 to 5 inches, roughly speaking, is what you can expect from Friday. If we're able to see that redevelopment though Saturday morning into the afternoon, there is an increasing confidence that we do see that. There will be a band and swath of localized areas that see 6 inches plus. Those places, like I said, mainly north of Madison. We'll show that finalized snow map here in a second, but Friday 4:30 p.m. this is Future Track showing that snow starting west of Madison. That'll increase in coverage and intensity, both the later into the evening that we get after dinner time. It will affect that time frame the most between 6 and 10 p.m., though impacts will continue into Saturday. And then this is early Saturday morning, Madison all the way up to the Dells and Black River Falls, still seeing that snowfall. I think we'll see lull in activity south towards the Wisconsin-Illinois border, but then more comes into play. Here's one of the models showing more redevelopment, and most models do show this later in the morning Saturday, continuing into the afternoon, and then starting to break up, though I still think we could see some flurries even into Sunday. Not high or additional accumulations expected, not much Saturday evening, and then into Sunday we would just see some lighter areas of snowfall. Here's the updated map, 3 to 6 inches for the most part. The further south you get, that's more confidence in that 3, 4, 5 inch time frame, and then also Madison and basically northward, northern Dane County, and then all the way up to Watoma and Manitowoc. That's where those areas could see 6 inches plus. That's where the higher confidence is going to be. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the alert days are because of the cold. We have several nights, Sunday lasting all the way to Wednesday night, that will be sub-zero.
All right, Savannah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Got a lot to look out for.
Yes, absolutely. Stay safe, everyone.
A Texas man is suing the Green Bay Packers over a data breach with the Packers Pro Shop website. Brian Garcia is accusing the team of failing to properly secure and safeguard private information. He filed the suit seeking class action designation so that others may join. It is unclear how much money Garcia is seeking. The team has not responded to this filing, but has offered credit monitoring and identity theft services to its customers.
Well, big news in the football world. Former Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers no longer with the New York Jets. The team announced the decision yesterday, ending their brief and rocky relationship. Rodgers joined the team in 2023 after a trade with the Packers. Last year, Rodgers threw for nearly 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. The Jets have not announced who will take over as their next QB.
Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about the top 5 things not to tell the person you just started dating.
And coming up in our next half hour, why some Madison teachers are paying more in taxes.
We're back at 6:23. This photo is from Gwen.
Isn't this cool?
Yeah.
Get the snow and the Valentine's decor.
And she says Happy Valentine's Day, too.
Oh, happy Valentine's to you, Gwen.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes. Enjoy the day. Whether or not you're going to celebrate it, it's fine. But yeah, either way, just have a good day.
Savannah, what did you call it earlier?
Somebody commented Singles Awareness Day.
Singles Awareness Day.
Okay.
I like that.
Singles Awareness Day.
It's funny. Yeah.
And speaking of Valentine's, I'll say our sweet Michelle Renee gave us some.
She made us our own
Look at
Valentine's
these
Day cards.
Handmade Valentines from our Michelle Renee Quinn.
So yeah, she's been off the air this week because she's been helping behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So
Let's cue up a shot of the booth and see if we can get Michelle Renee to give us a little wave.
Does she want to be seen?
Yes. Oh, come on. Michelle Renee says you don't get a shot of the booth.
She's wearing an awesome
morning.
heart scarf
All right,
this morning.
what does yours say? She is.
Mine says, Kyrian, roses are red, you're never a bore. Thanks for being such a great mentor.
Oh,
Happy Valentine's Day. She is a doll.
She absolutely is.
What does yours say?
Mine says Happy Valentine's Day, Sav, and then the inside says sunsets are red, the sky is quite blue. Work just wouldn't be the same without you.
That's so kind. Look at the detail there.
I know.
Like,
the
these are
newspaper.
They're all handwritten
Very, very cool.
Love
it, Michelle Renee Quinn.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mine says, Chris, roses are red. Happy Valentine's Day. Here's a piece of paper to throw away.
That's like right up your alley, though. like she had to find something that fit everyone.
Yeah.
All right, so, well, happy Valentine's Day.
wave
Thank
at the
you,
camera?
Michelle Renee. There we go. There's Michelle Renee.
My girl.
Wearing her
yes.
red and her heart scarf.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Michelle Renee.
She'll be back and better next week for us. So yeah, stay tuned.
She loves those holidays.
Yes, she does. She goes all out. I wish you could see our newsroom.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's
Very
hearts
cool.
Oh, she already
everywhere.
has St. Patrick's Day loading. It's already brewing up for us. So there's that. Yes.
All right. Hey, a new poll reveals the biggest icks or turnoffs in the early stages of a relationship. Krispy Kreme teamed up with a dating app and found that the 5th cringiest thing to do is call the other person your soulmate too early. Telling others that you're official during the talking stage. That's number 4.
Okay.
Saying I love you too early is number 3. Number 2 on the list is talking about moving in before you've even seen where the other person lives.
That's a red flag.
Number 1, picking out baby names.
Yeah.
Too early.
Throw a flag on the play. There you go. I don't know. Some things don't bother people like that,
come
but
on.
you can teach their own.
Right, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
Like, let's get to
That's
it.
what a lot of people say, yeah.
Just jump to it.
Yeah. Well, the red on our 10-day forecast signifies the alert days. We have 5 of those in a row, and yes, one does include Valentine's Day. The morning's really cold, but the alert day conditions, because the snow we're going to see, that'll be in place later in the day, mid to late afternoon, and continue into Saturday. And then the bitter cold Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'll talk about snowfall, additional accumulations that we could see.
Breaking news, a death investigation on Madison's east side. We'll have the latest this morning.
Tracking a winter weather advisory in effect for all of the Madison area and, in fact, most of the state of Wisconsin. We'll talk about the latest on your alert day conditions.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on your Friday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. Let's get right to that breaking news. One person is dead, another injured after a shooting that happened overnight in a parking lot on Madison's east side. It was North Thompson Drive, right near the interstate. Officers got to the scene around 10 o'clock last night. No arrests at this point. Officers have cleared the scene, though, and Madison police say there is no known threat to the public right now. Still, if anyone has any information out there that could help out investigators, call Madison Area Crime Stoppers, 608-266-6014, or submit one online at p3tips.com.
In other news this morning, snow emergencies continue for parts of our viewing area. Madison's snow emergency is in effect until 7 o'clock this morning. A winter weather emergency for Beloit and the village of Marshall starts tonight at 6 and runs until noon on Sunday. If you're in those areas, you may not park your car on the street. You could be fined or towed if you do.
All right, so as for Madison's snow emergency, that means alternate side parking rules are still in effect for about 30 more minutes. So if you're parked in the street, make sure you're on the even numbered side. You could be fined or towed if you're not. The city does enforce that until 7 a.m. And then we have another alert day in the forecast and another round of snow on the way. So that snow emergency could last into tomorrow. If that happens, you then have to park on the odd side of the street. This allowed crews to clear the streets so much easier.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's here now with your first warn weather. Good morning.
Good morning. A very cold start to Valentine's Day. -1 in McFarland, -3 in Deerfield, about -6 in Edgerton, 7 in Middleton, 0 in Madison. So temperatures all across Dane County and southern Wisconsin, all over the place this morning. 2 in the Dells and -3 in Lone Rock. The good news is we'll see temperatures warm. We're looking at the mid-20s later this afternoon, lower to mid-20s, but then we have an alert day to talk about. The alert day conditions for accumulating snowfall, additional snow of 3 to 6 inches, but areas north of Madison could see even higher amounts than that. That'll be all across southern Wisconsin mid to late Friday afternoon, and that'll continue into Saturday. We'll talk about how much snowfall areas north of Madison could see, and also where that heavier band looks to set up if we'll see redevelopment into Saturday. I'll have all of that coming up in a bit.
All right. Folks, you can track that snow today yourself with the free First Warn weather app. Well, some teachers in Madison, in the Madison Metro School District, may need to pay some extra taxes this year, more than what they were expecting.
District leaders told teachers this at the start of the calendar year. They found out that updates to the system may have excluded too much income from taxation. In an email, the district says this could particularly affect employees who did not have a recent W-4 on file. This is because W-4 forms before 2020 use different tax tables compared to current ones.
MMSD also sending us a statement on this, saying that they'd like to acknowledge that this occurred and sincerely apologize to their staff. They've taken immediate steps to prevent this error from happening again, including ensuring accurate system updates and a mandatory double checking process for these updates. The statement also said that they believe all employees were impacted in one way or another, but the effects will vary depending on the tax filings. MMSD employs about 4,000 workers.
In state capitol news this morning, lawmakers are set to vote next week on their first package of bills this session. The Assembly Education Committee advanced a slate of 5 education bills. They include provisions to create standards on civics education and cursive writing. Another bill would undo changes to how the state evaluates failing schools.
DPI is really failing our schools. failing our educators. To me, this is just a no-brainer, and we've got to get back to helping school districts assess where they're really at so they can measure their own progress.
We're expecting these bills to get a vote in the Assembly on Wednesday. They will then head to the state Senate.
This is all happening with the race for state superintendent up for a vote on Tuesday. Voters are going to narrow down the candidates for DPI superintendent from 3 to 2. Candidates include Brittany Kinzer, Jeff Wright, and the incumbent Jill Underley. The top 2 will move on to the April election.
4 teenagers are facing charges after allegedly beating up and robbing an East High School student. Madison police say they've arrested 4 of the 5 suspects. They include 2 15-year-olds and 2 16-year-olds. Police say they stole the student's money and after the student reported this. The group attacked him at school last Tuesday. That student had to be hospitalized for injuries. Police have not yet identified the age of the other suspect.
A Madison man charged in a deadly hit and run on the Beltline will face sentencing in 2 months. This week, a jury convicted Jules Tunyataman of hit and run involving death. His car hit 23-year-old Jataja Graham while she ran down the middle of the Beltline against traffic. Tunyataman didn't stop and turned himself in a week later after police issued a warrant for his arrest. A judge will sentence Tunyataman on April 18th.
To an update now on the Amber Alert surrounding 16-year-old Sophia Franklin. The alert is now extended into Missouri. The state's highway patrol believes she and suspect 40-year-old Gary Day are driving through the state. The Amber Alert went into effect February 3rd. Franklin from Beaver Dam is pregnant with what's believed to be Day's child. Police say they may be in a black Buick LaCrosse with changing license plates. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Beaver Dam Police.
TikTok is back in the Apple and Google app stores. The popular video sharing platform was restored after a new report from Bloomberg. It reported that Attorney General Pam Bondi would not enforce a law which would have banned TikTok without a divestment. U.S. officials had feared that the Chinese government could use the app to spy on Americans. President Trump says he still hopes that TikTok's U.S. business will be sold. He has extended that deadline. Well, the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art is partnering up with Madison Schools to present a new exhibit. Check this out. It's called Young at Art and features works from over 144 Madison students, kindergarten through 12th graders. The exhibit's meant to showcase the depth of expression and creative power possessed by young artists.
So there's a really, really cool tradition that is continuing with this exhibit, but also it's an opportunity to celebrate the incredible artists that we have in our community, to inspire young students to see that they too can be artists and to take their work seriously and get to see it really presented professionally.
If you want to check it out, Young at Art opens to the public this Sunday. The exhibition is free. It'll be open until April 6th.
All right, very cool. Well, Savannah, what's coming up?
Low and cold wind chills out there. Some of us about negative 15 degrees. That includes Madison. We'll talk about how low they're going to go, though, early next week coming up.
And it's time to kick off the Spirit of Service campaign in the 608 this morning. I'm live at Vortex in Barneveld with how you can support your local veterans. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We are continuing to follow breaking news at this hour. One person is dead and another is recovering after a shooting overnight in a parking lot. This happened on North Thompson Drive on Madison's east side near the interstate. Officers got to the scene around 10 last night. There have not been any arrests, but the scene is clear, and Madison police say there is no known threat to the public right now. Anyone with information is asked to contact Madison Area Crime Stoppers at 608-266-6014 or online at p3tips.com.
California hunkered down this morning for a giant storm. It's a weather system known as an atmospheric river and is drenching the west coast. Southern California could get up to 6 inches of rain, bringing possible flash flooding and mudslides. LA especially worried about burn scars from the recent wildfires where there's little vegetation to hold back debris. Crews have installed barriers in some spots and sandbags to protect homes, and hard-hit neighborhoods are under evacuation warnings.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito. What is our February 14th looking like?
Well, our Valentine's Day is definitely a cold start, but temperatures, those will warm up. We'll be closer to what's normal for us across southern Wisconsin later in the day, mid to lower 20s, but then late today, mid to late afternoon, early evening, that's when our alert day conditions will be in place for all of southern Wisconsin. Additional snowfall accumulation, we're looking at about 3 to 6 inches, but I do think there will be some areas that see localized slightly higher amounts. That snow is going to develop west of here before 4 p.m. and then increase in coverage as well as intensity. Intense snowfall rates where we could see close to an inch per hour. That's more so along I-94 and then northward 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's also when our greatest impacts will be in place, including low visibilities and very hazardous travel because of slick conditions. So definitely plan for extra time if you do have plans later for dinner or even beyond that. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. still going to see impacts linger into Saturday morning with light to moderate snow continuing. And then some lighter snow even persists into Saturday. Saturday morning into the afternoon, we're still watching for that redevelopment. There's overall very high confidence in snow tonight. The evening commute definitely impacted. Roughly about 2 to 4, 2 to 5 inches expected. But Saturday, there is growing confidence in seeing more snow in that redevelopment. We could be tracking a 6-inch plus area or swath of snowfall that's looking at northern Dane County and then northward. That snow eventually going to track in much later than lunchtime, butting up to dinner time. 4 p.m. that'll be west of Madison. And then, like I mentioned, increasing in intensity and coverage the later into the evening that we get. That continuing. I think we'll see a break in activity, though, areas south, Monroe, Janesville, and across northern Illinois. But then into early Saturday morning, we could see that redevelopment and that kind of spread out across more of southern Wisconsin to affect most of us. We do have a winter weather advisory. That'll start at 4 p.m. this afternoon, continue through 6 a.m. Saturday. That's when the National Weather Service office has that expiring anyways. But then the redevelopment could play into Saturday afternoon. Saturday evening into Sunday, still tracking some flurries, but no additional accumulation at that point in time, not much anyways. So 3 to 6 inches, that confidence is mainly south of Madison. But the city of Madison, northern Dane County, and northward, those are the areas that I think we could see that 6-inch plus swath, maybe areas closer to 7 or even 8 inches on top of what's already fallen. This will not be a light snow like what we just saw on Wednesday. This is going to be a heavy, wet snow, and especially if we see that into tonight and early Saturday, because temperatures will be very close to freezing level tomorrow afternoon. And then after that, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday turn very cold. Even Wednesday's looking cold. Might have to continue with alert day conditions, but right now wind chills don't look quite as terrible as what we're going to see Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday nights.
Boy, brutally cold out there, and another heavy round of snow today. A lot to keep track of. Savannah, thanks for breaking it all down for us.
You're welcome.
Well, let's get to the 608. We are kicking off our Spirit of Service campaign this morning as we honor local veterans making a positive impact in our community.
Oh, I've been waiting for this one. Josh Breider live in Barneville this morning with how you can get involved. Good morning, Josh.
Hey, good morning. It's officially time to start Spirit of Service 2025. We're at Vortex this morning. Our partners once again in this campaign. Joe Hamilton is the CEO joining us live this morning. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's great. Great to be by the fireplace on a chilly morning like this.
Absolutely, yes. It's nice and warm.
Yeah, sitting nice and warm here, and you guys are super excited. We're talking about the 3rd year of Spirit of Service as we honor our local veterans.
Yeah, so we're really excited about it. We're all about service at Vortex, and we're particularly all about highlighting and appreciating those who have served our country, and they're still serving after serving our community.
You know, this is year number 3 for you, and this event really has grown substantially over the last few years. It's amazing to see how many wonderful people we have still doing something good in the community.
Yeah, so last year I think we had over 100 nominations of people that are serving their community, and it's great. It's in their DNA, so they served our country, which you think would be enough, but it wasn't enough for them. It's just who they are, so they're still serving their communities, and it's just an awesome opportunity to highlight them.
So we have some images, some video we want to show folks from last year, because these people, you know, are out in the community every single day, still making a difference. And that's what it's all about. Like you mentioned, like this is in their DNA to give back.
Yeah, and it's super inspirational. I mean, sometimes, you know, there's so much going on in the news and you can forget about these individuals that are in your communities and they're doing such amazing work. It's inspiring. And like I said, to have an opportunity to highlight them and appreciate them is really just a great thing.
I mean, this is an emotional process for a lot of folks too, because the stories that these folks have over the years and their reason on why they're still giving back today, whether it's giving back to kids, giving back to other veterans, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's all about their stories. And so we would just encourage people when they nominate people, just include as much of their story as possible. We love reading them. That will allow other people an opportunity to read about them and of course nominate to ultimately choose a winner, which is extremely difficult to do. But yeah, we just love to highlight their stories.
So this campaign will last the next couple of months. Today's the first day that you can go on and nominate. So folks will have 2 weeks to be able to do that, and then you guys will narrow everything down, which you mentioned is kind of a hard process. And then there will be that final vote as we narrow it down. So it's amazing just to see how this process kind of comes together, because there are so many amazing people that you wish you could give people. Everyone could be a winner, right?
We do. It's an extremely difficult process. It's an extremely rewarding process, because when you read about these individuals' lives and their stories and what they're doing, you can't help but be inspired. You can't help but want to serve your community alongside them. But yes, it's an extremely difficult process to get it to the final winner. In a lot of ways, they're all winners, but it's a fun process, and we just encourage the community to, again, just nominate those within their community who are continuing to serve long after their service for our country.
It's all about that positive impact, and I mean, it's so heartwarming to know that we have so many folks right in our backyards that are still doing something good today.
Exactly, you nailed it. There's so many of them. We want to hear all about them. We want to be inspired by their story, and we want to just appreciate them for all that they've done.
So you'll want to stay tuned to Channel 3000 and News 3 Now over the next couple of months for this process, because you, the viewers, have a big say in this when it all comes down to it. You know, but when it comes down to, you know, those 5 stories that we heard last year, once you get down to the 5, it's so emotional and it's so incredible just to see how many lives they continue to impact.
Yeah, if you want just a heartwarming moment, not only nominate, but just read through those final 5. Obviously, a vote, but it's a fun process, and you just can't help but be inspired.
Well, Joe, we appreciate your time. Good to see you again. And
good to see you.
Here's the Spirit of Service 2025.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to learn more about that process, I have everything you need to know, that step-by-step process on channel3000.com, including that link to where you can nominate starting today. Again, you have 2 weeks to nominate, and then the process moves right on from there. So we're off and running here on this Friday morning, guys. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to meet some of these veterans doing something good.
Yes, lots of veterans doing great things in our community, so let's flood those nominations with all the good.
Yeah, get them in. Hope to see more than we did last year, and last year we had a lot. All right, Josh Sprider, thanks, buddy. If you have an idea for Josh for In the 608, reach out. He'd love to hear from you. A lot of your stories end up on TV.
Coming up in the morning sprint, Valentine's Day spending predictions for this year.
And look who's 3 on a Valentine's birthday today. Wishing Caden a happy 3rd birthday. Happy birthday, kiddo. We're back with the morning sprint right after this. .6:53, time for the morning sprint.
We continue to follow breaking news this morning. A homicide investigation is underway following a shooting on the city's east side. Police say one person is dead and another is in the hospital. It happened around 10 last night in a parking lot on North Thompson Drive. There have not been any arrests, but Madison police say there is no known threat to the public.
Snow emergencies continue for parts of the viewing area. Madison has extended its declaration until 7 o'clock this morning, so just a few more minutes here. Beloit's winter weather emergency will start up at 6 o'clock this evening for the next round of snow. That'll run until noon on Sunday. The Village of Marshall will also have a snow emergency. That takes effect this evening at 6 as well and lasts until the same time on Sunday.
Some teachers in the Madison Metropolitan School District may need to pay more taxes than they were expecting this year. District leaders told teachers this at the start of the calendar year. In an email, the district says this could particularly affect employees who did not have a recent W-4 on file. This is because W-4 forms before 2020 used different tax tables compared to current ones.
A state audit of Milwaukee schools shows the district has a culture resistant to change. That's after the school district failed to submit financial reports. Auditors say they found critical issues stemming from staff turnover, fragmented planning, and outdated systems. In a statement, the governor urged the district to accept the recommendations.
To an update on the Amber Alert surrounding 16-year-old Sophia Franklin. The alert is now extended into Missouri. The state's highway patrol believes she and suspect 40-year-old Gary Day are driving through the state. Franklin from Beaver Dam is pregnant with what's believed to be Day's child. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Beaver Dam Police.
Dane County Sheriff's Office has a warning out this morning about SIM jacking. That's when hackers transfer your phone number to a scammer's phone, allowing them access to things like bank accounts and other personal information. Officials say the uptick in SIM swap cases can be prevented. On your screen, there are protections for different carriers. Just to contact your cell phone provider to set up those additional security measures.
TikTok is back in the Apple and Google app stores. The popular video sharing platform was restored after a new report from Bloomberg. It reported that Attorney General Pam Bondi would not enforce the law, which would have banned TikTok without a divestment. U.S. officials had feared that the Chinese government could use the app to spy on Americans. President Trump says he hopes that TikTok's U.S. business will be sold.
Americans are expected to spend a record $27.5 billion today celebrating Valentine's Day. A bulk of that money is going towards gifts like candy, flowers, and an evening out. Multiple national restaurants are offering buy one, get ones today through their apps. They include Burger King, Panera Bread, Shake Shack, and Subway, to name a few.
Well, your alert day conditions for Valentine's Day are going to be later in the day. The morning will be okay other than the bitter cold we're waking up to with wind chills about -10 to -15. But air temps will warm into the mid-20s. The snow today into tomorrow prompting the alert day conditions. We'll see about 3 to 5 inches. A couple areas see slightly higher than that, but low visibilities and slick conditions. It'll be a heavier, wet snow.
So more snow on top of the snow we already have.
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
We're back in 30 minutes with the weather and news update.